everyone, this is Angie at Stampin' with Amore. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications each time I upload a new video. So today I have a little pumpkin box, and it's a clear box. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, and I thought it was time to do one, and here is a little pumpkin box for you. Now I got the idea off of Pinterest, so it's not my original idea, but I do think it's so adorable. And I filled it with Hershey's Kisses and some little Dove chocolates, but you can put anything in here. You can put the little pumpkins, the candy pumpkins, or the candy corn in here, or the candy mix. All of it would be really cute in this box. So this is what I'm sharing today, so let's get started. Okay, so what you're going to need for this is a piece of window sheet. This window sheet is 8.5 by 4. And then for the top of the box, you'll need a piece that is 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. This is pumpkin pie. And then you are going to need one piece, and this is for the top of the box. And this piece is 3 by 1/2. And then I have two little 1/4 inch pieces, which are 1/4 inch by 3 1/2. And these are for the little squigglies that go on the top of the box. I also have a scrap of Whisper White, which I'm going to stamp the sentiment on here. So the stamp set that I'm using is the Arrange a Wreath, and I'm just using the leaf out of here and the Give Thanks. And I'm also using the die from that bundle, which is the die for the little leaf. And that is all that we are using out of this. All right, so let's get scoring our window sheet. And I like to score it on my Simply Scored so I can get a really deep score line. And you're going to really have to be patient with the window sheet because it is hard to score, and not hard to score, but it's hard when you put it together. I'll show you that in just a second, what I mean by that. So we are going to score it at 2, and I'm pressing pretty hard at 4, at 6, and at 8. And then you're going to turn it on the long side. This is the 4-inch side, and you're going to score it at 2. And I like to really press so it gives you a really deep impression on here. All right, so now we are going to cut this. So we're going to cut off this long 1/2-inch piece here. You can cut either side because this is 2 inches both sides. And then we're going to cut up here. And we're going to cut this one. Just like when you're making a box, it's just using the window sheet. I'm cutting out to make these a little bit narrower here, so the bottom is not so bulky. It's really hard to see where you're cutting on these, so do it in a really lighted place. But they're so well worth it. They're so pretty when they're done. I really love making boxes out of the window sheet. Alright, and then I'm going to really sharpen up these score marks. Now sometimes I have to hold it up to the light to be able to see where my score marks are. It's really hard to see on here. In fact, I'm going to grab a piece of basic black, and I'm going to put it behind this so that you can see what I'm doing here. It may be a little bit easier for you to see because you are up against the white. So is that better? So I am going to fold on all these score marks, and I'm just kind of pressing down on them, and then I'm going to use my bone folder to sharpen it. And don't worry if it starts curling in on each other. You can fix that super easy with this window sheet. And make sure you're using a really good acetate, because if you're not using, like, this is very stiff, so it works really well for boxes. And then I'm doing the same with all the bottom pieces. On the bottom pieces, it's a lot easier because you can fold it right up to the top and you'll have it right on the score line because they're even, 2 inches on each side. All right, so now it kind of looks crazy, but we are going to use some tear and tape. Now, I really suggest you use tear and tape for this because it's really hard to hold this down. And if you have something that's a little bit clearer, that's just one thing about the tear and tape. You are going to see it, but put it to the back and nobody will notice. All right, so we are going to peel this off. And I just put them, I've made several clear boxes, and I just put it to the back, and I've never had a problem with it. So make sure you line that up really good. And then I'm going to take the bottom pieces. I'm going to fold the 2 that I cut in first, and then the 2 flat pieces. And I got to make sure I got that straight because I actually got it a little bit crooked there. There we go. All right, and then we're going to put one piece more of tear and tape on the bottom. And I'm just going to put it on this very edge here. And when you have the candy in here, you don't see this piece at all. Actually, this piece is a lot harder to see than the side piece. And then we're going to take that backing off. And then we're going to put that in there. And now you can see it's not perfect, so I usually just go around it and squish it together. So you see it's not hard to do. You just have to be a little patient with it. And so then we have our little clear box. So now let's do the top. We're going to have to score this one. So we're going to score, this is very easy scoring on this. We are just scoring it at 3/4 inches on all 4 sides. Oh, first, before we do that, I'm getting ahead of myself here, like I do sometimes. I'm going to bring the big shot in here, and we are going to emboss this piece because it's easier to score it after you emboss than before, because you're not going to see it once you emboss it. So when you're embossing, I have an old, one of our 3D folders, and it is the tin tile. This works really well for this. So you only need the number 1 and then a number 3 plate on top to send this one through. Some of the embossing are 3Ds. You need to use the 3D plate for that, but not on this one. So I'm going to bring these all back because we're going to cut our leaves out in a little bit. So I'm just going to put this back. And we're going to get the box together and then we'll do the leaves. All right, now we're going to score it. And we are going to score it, like I said, 3/4 inches on all 4 sides. You'll be happy that you scored it after, because I've done it lots of times and then I can't find my score marks. So it's so much easier after you run it through the big shot. So this one we are going to cut up here. I'm going to turn it 1/4 of a turn. And this piece is 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. I think I already said that, but since I got ahead of myself, I want to be sure that I told you what size this is. All right, now let's sharpen these. And again, I'm going to use wet glue for this top part. So I'm just going to put it on all our tabs. And then we're going to fold this box top in. Make sure you line it up really nice so your corners are real square. I think I forgot to sharpen that score mark. So I like to hold these just a minute. Okay, so then we have our top for this. Making sure that those are all square, and then we're going to just put our top on here. And the top fits kind of loose, so whenever you're, it doesn't fit perfectly tight, but it's a good fit. You don't want to pick up from that little top that we're going to put on here. So be aware of that when you give it as a gift. All right, so this piece is the piece we're using for the stem. And I just took my bone folder and I kind of turned it. And then I'm going to just fold up the corners, the bottom here, on both sides. I'm doing it maybe 1/2 inch or so. I'm going to use a glue dot for this. I'm going to put a glue dot right at the bottom here. And we're going to just match those up. And then you have a little like stem there. So for this part, I'm going to use tear and tape because I found the tear and tape works the best for this. So they're little pieces, but you might want to be sure and put them on with tear and tape or some very strong adhesive. You know, even if the top was super tight, you don't want to pick it up by this. So then we're going to put that right in the center. And then what I did for the little curlies, and I always say I don't remember what the name of these things are called, but I just took my little paintbrush here and I just wrapped it really tight on there. And since they're small strips, they stay curled. And then we're going to do the same for the other one. And then I'm just going to use some adhesive on the end here. I'm going to put one on this side. And you can pull these out. If you're going to do that, either do it before or after you glue it. So we're putting on one on each side here. Alright, so now let's go ahead and stamp our leaves. So I'm using garden green. And we're doing it on garden green. And I do need 4, but I'm only going to stamp 2. And then the other 2 I'm just running through the Big Shot or not the Big Shot, but the Cut and Emboss. I'm just running it through as a plain leaf on here. I've got glue on my fingers now. And then I'm going to use Early Espresso. And we're going to stamp the Give Thanks. I'm going to stamp it right on the bottom here. I love that. But you can make this for Halloween or whatever you want. Just use the sentiment that you like. I love this sentiment, and I thought this would be really cute place setting for Thanksgiving or for a fall. So we're going to set that one aside. We're going to once again bring the Cut and Emboss up here. And we are going to run these through. And I'll run them through, but I'll speed it up so you don't have to watch me run all 4 of these through. Okay, so we have 2 that are stamped and 2 that are plain. Now we're going to put those on our box. And I am going to put the one that is not stamped down first on this side. And then we're going to put the other one on the opposite side. And then I'm going to kind of fold these so that gives it a little bit more dimension. And then I'm going to add adhesive to this, and we're going to add it here. And then we're going to do the same with this one. Kind of fold it I'll put this one that way. And then we're going to add our sentiment. And I am going to go ahead and use my stamp and seal. And I put that at the other end. Let's put them on this side. And then I'll just stick that under there just like that. And then you have your gift thanks. I happen to have some candy corn that I used for another project. So we'll stick some of those in this box. And we'll put that top on. The top fits good. It's just that I don't want people lifting it from here. Because if you do, it's going to fall everywhere, the candy. So that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you need any supplies, you can shop on my blog at StampingWithAmore.com. I hope you all have a blessed one, and I will catch you in the next one. See you later, everyone. Bye.